She was one of the most naturally gifted actresses of her generation. Cool, effortlessly compelling, and carrying a screen presence that felt completely her own despite the extraordinary Hollywood legacy she was born into. Bridget Fonda was everywhere in the 1990s, and then, almost without warning, she was gone. What she looks like today and the story of everything that happened in between will genuinely stop you in your tracks. Bridget Fonda was born on January 27, 1964, in Los Angeles, California, the daughter of Peter Fonda, the granddaughter of Henry Fonda, and the niece of Jane Fonda. A lineage so loaded with Hollywood royalty that almost any other person would have been crushed beneath its weight. Bridget carried it lightly and built something entirely her own. Single white female, point of no return, Jackie Brown, and a simple plan demonstrated a range and a fearlessness that had nothing to do with her last name and everything to do with her own considerable talent. At her peak in the mid-1990s, Bridget Fonda was one of the most in-demand actresses in Hollywood. Then the roles began slowing. Then in January 2003 she was involved in a serious car accident in Los Angeles that left her with injuries significant enough to require extensive recovery. She had been engaged to composer Danny Elfman since 2002. They married in November 2003 as she was still recovering. And then she simply stopped. No formal retirement announcement. No final film. No farewell interview. Bridget Fonda walked away from acting at 39 years old and built a life so completely and deliberately private that an entire generation has grown up without knowing she existed. She and Danny Elfman welcomed a son, Oliver, in 2005. By every account she threw herself into motherhood and into a quiet domestic life in Los Angeles that bore almost no resemblance to the career she had left behind. While Danny Elfman continued composing some of the most recognizable film scores in Hollywood, the two remained married for nearly 2 decades before separating. Bridget remained almost entirely invisible to the public. The photographs that surfaced in recent years showing Bridget Fonda out in Los Angeles produced reactions that her most devoted fans described as genuinely startling. The sleek, polished actress of the 1990s had been replaced by a woman who looked like she had spent 20 years making a deliberate and total peace with being unrecognized. Heavier, older, and carrying herself with the ease of someone who stopped performing for the world a very long time ago and never once regretted it. She is 61 years old in 2026. She has not acted in over 2 decades. She has given no interviews and issued no statements about her absence. The Hollywood that once considered her one of its brightest talents has moved on entirely. But the woman who stepped away from all of it, quietly, completely, and on nobody's timeline but her own, looks like exactly what she chose to become. Someone who decided that a real life was worth more than a celebrated one.